So, it's 1:11. Start this one. Um, this is about the lessons in Ascension, what we learn when we don't walk someone else's footsteps. We know that somebody else has work to do, and so we push them to do their portion of the work. Well, just like with me, everybody is on a different timetable. And me being the last one allowed to take the test, I am under the impression that everybody that went before me only needed me to complete my work. And once that I complete my work, then it would be done. Little did I know that some people's work was held up while I done my work. And their work being held up, in turn, has to hold me up because that's balance. It has to slow down my progress. It has to impede my path because the timetable I was on and the timetable they were on have to intersect. If I cause a ripple, I have to answer for that. If the other person caused a ripple, they have to answer for that. And we answer for it by compensation in equal proportion according to the theme that is being dealt with. And so in this particular case, it's the work and the timing of the work. And so the work that I had to do in the study, the intense study of almost everything on the planet. I mean, I have to study ancient history. I had to study revisionist history, modern history. I have to study science in various fields from atomic science to physics and everything in between. And so I go about my work being under the knowledge that I'm the last person allowed to take the test. And I'm the last person allowed to take the test because other people are more desired to inherit the seat than I am. And that is because at various times, in order to defend the people of Earth, I've been the scourge and I've been the redemption in the scourge. And so I've been villainized because of the things I had to do. But in the process, I have to absorb the punishment and use the negative energy from absorbing the punishment to build a more positive and enlightened movement of energy on the expression. In other words, I alchemically have to absorb all of the stuff that people do to mistreat me. I have to turn it around internally and allow it to come out as a benevolent pursuit. So I'm done with my invites. And so when I get to a point where this is the grand finale in the work process, I'll be under the impression that everybody's gone ahead and did their work, never knowing that for me to do my work, some people had to stop and wait. It might have looked like to them how it looked like to me that they dragging their feet. And so I get defensive, and all that's part of a process because of the temperament of a person and the character of a person. We get to understand how we behave and react to things and how other people behave and react to things. Then we can balance out those behaviors once we know each other. And so in the whole process of learning, evolving, growing, ascending, when we encounter people, we have to have a mutual exchange of energy back and forth. We have to deal with each other in the most balanced nature possible in order to learn the behavior of the other person. All right. In the process, it's alchemically moving energy within the person because you have to withhold stuff that's negative because of the negative effect it'll have on the other person. And that being what you call a noble deed converts the energy that you held in. You held back the bullshit because you didn't want to give this person bullshit. So you held the bullshit part back so that you can give them the clean, raw, uncut truth. Because you held the bullshit back inside you, what you held back at started out as bullshit encounters a noble principle of alchemy, equivalent exchange. Because you didn't use that energy, that negative energy, it can't just sit there and stay negative. It got to go somewhere. It has to do something. What does it do? If your heart is pure, it can only turn into a benevolent energy for you to put back out. So, you hold back the bullshit, and this is what they call keeping it real for real, other than that street shit where you can tell a motherfucker a lie in the name of keeping it real and it's cool. If you hold back bullshit, and you know it's bullshit, in order to pursue a better self and a better communication with the people you care about, the bullshit you held back begins to decompose. In farming, we call it composting. But it has to do something while it composts. It's changing form. This negative energy is changing form. It's transforming within you. You don't even know you're doing it. It's heat. It's pressure. The same thing that make diamonds. Heat and pressure. The internal heat of the negative quality of the bullshit, the lower heat, intensifies in the person, and you don't allow it to escape as a rage, a anger, or a resentment. You hold it back because that's not the proper context for the energy to be released. But it can't stay there in that form. It can't be destroyed. So the only thing left for the negative energy that you refuse to give to somebody you cared about, the only thing left for it to do is change form. If already negative, the only other form for negative is positive. So I say platinum back gorilla in reference to humans using the gorilla as a totem and understanding the concepts of guerrilla warfare. Platinum is the highest grouping of metals on the periodic table of metals. They're called platinum group metals, which includes your gold, your silver, platinum, iridium, radium. Well, there's a couple more. But these platinum group metals become platinum group metals through time and pressure in the movement of the atom without it being able to escape negatively. It has to turn into a more noble form of the lower energy and the lower vibration. And this is what we call alchemy. Okay, so now inside you, you start to change. Something happens to you where that negative shit that other people is experiencing, when you get in close proximity to them, you feel it. But you don't feel it alone because of what you've done with your own negative energy, right? When they come in and they need healing, you are trained by controlling your own negative energy. That means you're turning your mirror cells on in your brain, in your prefrontal lobe. That generates something called an empathy, not a sympathy, an empathy. Being able to feel somebody else's pain as if it was your very own pain, empathy. People who does this is called empath. Well, an empath has a side effect. They cannot leave a condition the way they found it if it's already negative. They cannot leave a person in a worse condition than they found them if they already in an adverse condition. So what does the empath do? Alchemy. Because they can identify with that person, they can do a mutual energy exchange, absorb all of the negative energy to heal that person. A good empath that knows himself knows how much of it to absorb, but most of us do it unconsciously. So we don't know when to turn it off consciously. But we change that energy for that person in order for them to be able to get unstuck in their path to ascension. So, every now and then, the blind spots of reading the signs sometime will tell you about a thing that is absolutely correct, but your perception from all of your learning gives you the wrong response to the right action, because the right action appears to be the wrong response. Now, for the person that you've absorbed all this negative energy from, at some point you're going to have what they call a maximum threshold. You can't absorb any more negativity from this one person. So then finally this person want to push more on you than you're willing to accept. More negative energy for you to convert. But you've reached maximum threshold. Your cup is full. You cannot accept any more negative energy from this one. You got other people to heal. In other words, they got their whole 8-ounce glass of water cleaned up. And now they got some more stuff in this new clean 8-ounce glass of water, and they want you to convert it. I already cleaned your water, right? So you become intolerant. That means that your mirror cells, you turn them inward to block that person's energy being received. When you do that, when the energy comes in contact with the empath who normally accepts it, it's like being hit with a plasma ball, and it kind of knock you a little silly for a minute. And that negative energy kicks you into the fight or flight mode. Normally, this person could not kick you into fight mode or flight mode. They would just allow you to control the energy and convert it. But when you reach maximum threshold, now is you meet it with aggression. You meet it as the enemy because of the force and power needed for an individual to reach maximum threshold. In some people, it's very great. So when they reach maximum threshold, they know at that point that there is a point of no pass. Now, a lot of people in the mystic arts heard that term, the point of no pass, when they doing like astral travel, projection, and things of this nature. Well, the point of no pass is when you reach maximum threshold within the self, you won't even tolerate your own self containing negativity at this point. The maximum threshold. Now what you have to do is exercise some of this good energy you absorb as negative and convert it. When you give it out, you start to then open the pathway to receive again, but you have to go through a process. This is where a lot of us get stuck, is the process. You can't start and jump to step 20 without doing 1 through 19. You're going to make mistakes at step 20 if you do that, based off the lessons you didn't get from the first 19 steps. So, once you start to give that energy out, now you start to balance back out. You have to balance back out before you can do any more energy conversion. Once you balance back out, all of the signs that you misread become clear, how you misread them and why you misread them. But this is giving you your receipt, so to speak. So when you run into the next sign, you realize you were supposed to misread those signs in order to elicit a certain internal response and external reaction. So what goes on inside of us changes the world outside of us when it's with the right intent, proper amount of emotional content, and it's in the right context, and it's following the path given to this thing. So if you want $1 million, a good example of following the process, I posted a video a couple weeks ago about Steve Harvey explaining how to make $1 million doing what you already do. He's going over a mathematical formula. People are stuck on the mathematical formula, and it's kind of irrational in a way, but it's rational in this regard. The mathematical formula that he's given is not about the math, and it's not about the particular job that he's describing. It's about the process of getting to $1 million from $10. It has to take a very particular step. Once you do this good thing that you got $10 for 10 times, you got $100, right? And then the thing that you did to get $100, you do it 10 more times, you got $1,000. So it works off that principle, but the principle is not the math nor the money. The principle is the processing of the steps you following. So you take these steps, 1 step, 2 step, 3 step. Now, as you following the steps in the process, you're learning lessons that's going to open the door when you get to the last step. That's why you can't put steps ahead of other steps, because at that point you lose track. And when you lose track, then you have to go back and backtrack, because you always in science go back to the last place where you knew you was right, without a doubt. Look at your formula you're using. Most of the time you're going to either have skipped a step or several steps, or you didn't complete a step. Then you realize, oh, this is where the error was. So these are the misread signs they're supposed to draw us back, because this is how it's keeping us on the timer, the clock. It keeps us on the clock by not allowing us to not learn from every step, good, bad, or indifferent. You have to learn the lesson. You learn the lesson best just by following the steps. At a subconscious level, your subconscious is recording it as a success. It's going to hold on to that in what you call your good file, and it's going to put it to the side. Later on, it's going to come back up where you need to go in your good file to solve a difficult problem. Because you followed the steps 5 lessons ago from 1 to 10, you got this thing in your good file you can use to help you to unlock another door based off a different lesson. So this is what, when you read the ISIS papers by Frances Wellesley, she's a psychiatrist, and she's talking about a unified field theory. Now, Einstein was a physicist, and he didn't deal with the mind sciences. He dealt with the mechanics of the universe and the mathematical formulas that unravels what this mystery is, which led him to something called an observer effect, and how the observer can alter the experiment, right? I'm giving y'all some science right now, explaining it to you like, so Einstein said in his unified field theory, when he originally wrote it, is that everything is connected. Everything is interrelated. All things feed one thing from another. He's absolutely correct. Everything is connected. Now, in the galactic scheme, what we are going through as our lives is actually a game being played by the gods, and we are the chess pieces. The only problem is they are not what we are, and they cannot attain what we can attain. And when they came in and took advantage of the benevolence and the goodness of the people that was already here, who were androgynous light beings, they were not three-dimensional physical forms. And they used science and technology to trap them into a three-dimensional shell. And then they used sorcery to put them to sleep in the shell so that they can use them as a battery to generate their shit, to build their stuff, right? So we wake up and realize we have been tricked, we've been kidnapped, we've been given amnesia, and we've been bound to a thing that's not us. This is not us. This organic, three-dimensional, self-replicating nanobot is not us. They got us in a tube, just like in the Matrix, projecting our consciousness into this body until we can take all of our consciousness as a light being and fill this vessel. That's what you call ascension. They scared to death because the wrong motherfucker woke. And so they left. The only problem remaining behind is what you call a residual. Now, this is an energy left behind by the passing of another energy through one energy. So if you have a north-south current and it's crossed by east-west current, at the center point of that, when the east-west current is completely through, it left a residual. The residual is the same as the residue left in the bathtub after you take a bath. When you let the water out, you still have to wash the bathtub because there's stuff all around the bathtub from the soap, the body oils, the dirts, and whatever. And so all of this has to wash the bathtub. Well, your residual energies from the cross current that went through there has to also dissipate. When we start waking up and realizing that we were deceived, we were trapped, enslaved in bondage in physical form when we were never physical beings. This gave us an advantage if we wake up, because now we can take physical matter, Merkaba, into spiritual realms. What's up, young one? I thought you was going to school. So when we take the physical matter into spiritual realms, that means that we can convert this. We can take control of the vessel that we were trapped in by becoming aware of the nature of the vessel and the nature of the spirit body. The spirit is superior to the physical. We have been taught that the physical is superior to the spiritual. Love is stronger than fear, but we have been taught that fear is stronger than love, right? That is to prevent us from overriding the fear response that was put in us as a control mechanism with the love energy that has to be part of an exchanging cycle of energy, like an alternating current. And so when you learn to control yourself physically, it's doing something to you spiritually. You opening the scroll of eyes within. The scroll of eyes within is all of the points of your internal consciousness and awareness of the self, the chakras, how energy moves through your body, how you digest your food, how you hydrate your body. All of these things is a continuous response that's going on in the body, and we never paid attention. So the children tell me, I'm sitting here bored. I say, why? I have nothing to do. Well, I don't agree with them because they're sitting there that they don't have anything to do. I always tell them, you got a lot to do. Have you ever considered how it feels to feel your heartbeat in your chest? Never thought about that. Well, did you know that if you focus, you can actually feel it beating all through your body? Now they're tuning in to heart chakra. As they listen, I say, try it. Focus on your heart and see if you can feel it beat. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Okay, now, focus on your foot and your heart and see if you can feel your heartbeat only in your foot. And they'll sit there for a minute And then they get this look on their face like, oh, it worked. Yeah, that's you. Get familiar with yourself and you can never get bored. The human structure, the body, has so much to learn. We can learn it in short order if we are even aware how to study it. So the other kids say, well, I've been doing the heartbeat thing and it's getting boring doing it now. That means that they're learning so much about it that the excitement of learning from it is diminishing. It's becoming a natural habit to periodically check it, so now they need a new exercise. So you give them another one. Have you ever considered the difference between breathing in your nose and breathing in your mouth and how your chest and your stomach move? Check it out. First breathe in your nose, then breathe in your mouth. See the difference. See how it feels on your face. So then you say, expand your lungs, contract your lungs. See how it feels in your chest, right? So this time, don't expand your chest. Let your stomach out when you breathe, and then you suck it back in when you exhale, and see how it feels. You're teaching them the science of breath. The science of the heart and the science of breath can cause spontaneous ascension in any child that practices it. Boom. The child mind will begin to awaken, right? And they will begin to see as what we call the indigo child. The indigo child is so advanced that they naturally practice this the moment they come into the 3D reality. So they're already aware of it, which the oxygen intake in the brain and the calorie conversion in the brain determines the rate of mental processes. So when I go meditate, I take all of the calories from my body and concentrate them in the brain so that most of the energy is going to the brain and I'm processing on 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 9 dimensions. It's 19 internal dimensions, but we are only allowed to access to 9 until we master to 9. Then we are given 10 more to master, right? And so when the child begin to wake up, they ask the parent questions. How many of y'all hear people tell them, quit asking all them damn questions? Because the parent can't answer the child's question. Go back to the book called the Bible. It says, out of the mouth of babes, the meek shall dumbfound the wise. What does that mean? The children asking these adults the questions that they can't answer. Instead of going and spend time with the child to get the answer and show them how to find the answer, you lash out at the child and compel him, force him, and convict him to stupidity, ignorance, and mental neglect of the self. That's wrong for parents to do that, but you can't condemn a person for not knowing what they're doing wrong. If nobody never taught anybody the right way, how do you know the right way to go? You don't. You have to discover it. You have to learn it. And so when you look at the so-called educational system, what I call it, the miseducation system, where they deliberately miseducate the child. When they were educating children, they didn't come in teaching them look, see, reading them in school. They came in teaching them this is what the letter looked like, and then phonics. This is what the letter sounds like. And this does something to the brain. Because the brain operates on frequency and vibration, which is tied to and related to harmonics. Harmonics is the science of sound. So you have the sound that oscillates right brain and left brain. And you have between it a median. And this is the opening of the third eye in the median. When you can get left brain and right brain vibrating at the same frequency at the same time, the I always forget the name, corpus callosum right here that connects the two hemispheres of the brain begins to vibrate a current just like this. Like you see the light on the front of the kit car in Michael Knight, oscillating back and forth. This is what you call the awakening of the third eye. This is the marriage. This is the sacred marriage of the divine masculine left brain, linear logic, and right brain, artistic, abstract expression. When they operate in harmony, they move the brain cells into a specific pattern. This pattern, in turn, awakens conscious bytes in the brain. Megabytes is like a little piece of memory in a computer called a byte. And the more that you're doing this, running this back and forth, it starts to speed up. It starts to speed up until it breaks through a mental barrier that was created to oppress you, keep you in a state of perpetual sleep and ignorance. You have just broken the spell of Kingu. You have awakened the third eye. You have resurrected from the mentally dead. You begin to see reality for what it is for the first time in your life. In a bullfight, they call it the moment of truth. Why do they call it that? It's the first time in your entire life you were looking at everything exactly for what it is without any false conception, no lies. That is what you call the moment of truth. The moment of truth kicks in and you begin to realize that there are others like you who were oppressed and trapped in a mental box. You want them out. You already got there. What good is it to be the only one to know that all of us was in slavery, in mental bondage and oppression, if I don't help the others that was in the same condition I broke free from? What good is it to break free from it if you can't break the rest of them free? The inmates got the asylum. The worst scourge that them fake gods ever seen awoke now. They know who I am. They already leaving. But we held them in place longer than they should have been here, because we misperceive the ones bringing us the light. Go back to the book. It told you the light shine in the darkness, but the darkness comprehended not. As this man telling y'all, wake the fuck up. You looking at him like he's insane, but you sleep in a perpetuated state of ignorance, trapped by fake gods using science to make you think they was more fucking than you and you were greater than them the whole time. I'm gonna put this shit on the floor. We out this shit when y'all realize, I'm telling y'all, I ran them motherfuckers out of here. The only thing left is the physical cleanup of the motherfuckers they use to push the dirt that still sit in key positions of power, in key places. We have Earth human family. The black ones, the white ones, the Asian ones, the Mexican ones, the Aboriginal ones, the Hindus, all of us combined to get these rotten motherfuckers out, so we can have peace, harmony, and be free of their treachery, deceit, and warfare, and the destruction of our children in our motherfucking face. I ran they ass out of here. They gone. They gone. The inmates got the fucking asylum. They gone. Only thing left for us to do is accept our responsibility. I am my brother's keeper, and I will not let any of us be victims any longer, as long as y'all refuse to be a fucking victim. The science is all wise, right, and exact. We use everything they put at us to break free from everything they threw at us. We use every form of bondage they inflicted on us to heal every form of affliction they gave us. We free from them motherfuckers. This shit all wise, right, and exact. Ain't no more big eyes or little U's. See, I was whooping their ass so bad, they knew they had no win. But it was too many people suffering. Mamas found an alternate plan. She said, baby, you the only one strong enough to pull this stunt off. You the only one smart enough to outsmart them. You the only one wise enough to not be seen until the time to be seen arrives. She say, but the only thing is, it's very risky that you may never realize who you are again. Me? The multi-dimensional form that is, I am, clot of her flesh, blood of her womb. Are you insane? Them motherfuckers can't put nothing together to break the eternal bonds of the people of earth. We have to wake up and realize the hate can go. We don't have to play their game no more. I took all of the tests they put in play and I passed them all. All the people they tripped and snared up to try to trip and snare me up, I redeemed them all. The science. Trust the science. If you don't trust the man, do the math. Do the exercises. Watch the children. You ain't got to believe nothing I say, because everything is verifiable. Physics proves a unified field theory. Physics proves the observer effect. So the science of breath in all of the ancient masters agree. So they before me. I was the last motherfucker to take the test, because them motherfuckers knew. Now they go back to the places they came from when they brought their rogue ass here. We have the full backing of the Galactic Council as I hold seat 50. I am King of Kings, Lord of Lords. I've already been crowned in the high heavens. The only thing left is for y'all to see it done in the Congo, where y'all can see the fucking rise of King motherfucking Kong in the planet of the apes, right in this bitch. This shit ain't no game. Watch these women in high places take over this bitch immediately. Watch her. Watch the shit they say. They thought they was going to keep the women subjugated on my watch? Are you fucking insane? My mama a woman, my sister a woman, my daughter a woman. How the fuck I'm going to let you subjugate the women of this planet and call myself a fucking man? It's over. It's over. Watch these motherfucking women rise. I can do the science on all of them. They finna take this shit over. The $1 trillion recovery plan has been executed. All scourges has been ousted. The only thing left is for the people of Earth to stop fighting each other and do this shit like we supposed to do it, in harmony, in truth, love, peace, freedom, and justice. My true balance returns as all of the lies have been exposed, all of the imposters revealed, and all of the righteous exalted. All kings rise now. All queens collect tribute. This shit over with. Follow the science. if you don't trust the man. The psychology will tell you about the mirror cells and the empathy. Follow the science if you don't trust the man. I'm the baddest motherfucker ever born. And everybody was programmed to automatically rebel and go against me so I don't break y'all free from this bullshit. I know my curse and I know yours. I don't take it personal even when I rant. Ride the motherfucking madman shit. I'm doing it for effect. To wake one more up. If I can wake one more up, he might wake up two. And if he wake up two, each one of them might wake up three. Do the math. How far can you get before you realize this shit is over? Ain't no more of that corporate greed. That shit over with. Corporate greed is done. Mary Berry would come from a working class family. We as workers, me included, work the line. We as workers love to make fun and poke jokes at the CEOs of the company because they make big salaries. Mary Berry had to get the biggest of the big three salaries because she got the biggest fucking job coming up. She got to have the biggest ovaries in corporate America right now. That's what y'all not understanding. This is not going to be easy for this woman, but she going to execute, just like she execute her position as CEO. Watch her. You know, I still got 2 horsewomen in Congress right now. Watch her. This shit ain't over until we say it's over. At one in agreement. And that's what it is. So, science of the heart. Feel your heartbeat through your body. Teach the children. Science of the breath. Practice varying different ways on how to breathe. One nostril, the other nostril. No nostrils, the mouth. No mouth, the nostrils. The mouth and the nostrils. The chest, move the chest. You know, move the abdomen. Different forms of breathing have different physiological effects. Teach it to the children. You know, teach it to the children. You know, we can't keep staying ignorant. We can't stay ignorant. Somebody sooner or later got to realize that if the unity is not in its proper context, it's a wasted energy. The energy conservation laws gives you your maximum effect. Now, I'm not going to go into the legal studies and what's going on downtown in Hamtramck and none of that. But I know the law. I had to study it. I had to be Johnny Cochran in this motherfucker. So I had to study it. I studied law longer than most lawyers before they get their degrees to become attorneys and take the bar. Because I had to be better than them because I don't got the alphabets. I had to know they shit better than they know they shit. I had to explain the rulings as if I was the Supreme Court Justice. I had to learn the law. So I did it. I had to tell you about your physiology, about the brain, the heart, the spleen, the kidneys, the liver, the intestines. So if I don't know about the body, I'm in y'all way. I'm in y'all way. I studied it. Anatomy. All of it. Yes. If you don't trust the man, trust the science. You know? So, I think that's all for now. 55-minute long video. So, keep y'all head up, keep y'all eyes peeled. This is where we take off.